Welcome to the Flaming Puck podcast with Ian Kelly, Dylan Simpson, and Chris Rubak. Today we're going to talk about Sam Bennett and David Rittich getting traded. Both good moves, and a little bit about seventh defenseman Michael Stone. And let's get going.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that agenda. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. I like your jersey.
I like your jersey.
Well, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But it's super impressive is Dylan's willingness to put that bad boy on the greatest sweater in Flames history. Boom.
Dude. Show the people who you got on the back. Show the people who you got on the back. Johnny Hockey himself. Guys, we have so much to talk about today. We've got Johnny Hockey to talk about, the resurgence, if you will. We've got the resurgence of Monahan, if you will. But most importantly, we have got the resurgence of the Flames to a point. So you like what I did there. I'm building the excitement, but also keeping people's expectations in check.
Tempering expectations.
Exactly.
Keeping it real.
Like we should be doing with David Wolf, right?
Well, that's exactly it. So let's actually start.
I sure hope they do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, don't throw the kid in there and just say, hey, by the way, you're going to play you're going to play 20% of the games next year because we got rid of the Minge and that's it. Like, go on. Yeah. Knock it out of the park, kid. But no, I think he's got a couple of years. I think he's got about maybe 2 years before he's really ready, and I think then we can kind of really...
Yeah, but I still think after 2 years, because Markey's signed for so long, I think it's probably a good idea to keep him playing not every game, obviously, but most games in the minors. Until Markstrom really starts, showing signs of fading even more than he already is.
Yeah, so even 3-4 years, even 3-4 years can be realistic. Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, until he can split with Markstrom, not until he, gets 20 games and sits on the bench for 62.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like the agenda there that you set for us, Dylan. So I suppose there is only one place to start, and that is the trade deadline. I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, guys, you're late to the dance," but not really, because there's not a lot of Calgary Flames podcasts on YouTube. There's plenty of audio. We are also available on audio and YouTube, but we are the guys that you actually get to see talking about it. So you hear the emotion, you see the emotion, and here we are. So I think
it's also good that we did it a couple days later too, because we get to actually look at what they've done since leaving.
There we go.
It's a minor sample size, obviously, for both, but I think both moves were good moves for the Flames as well as the players. We all know that Rittich wasn't coming back next year. He's kind of said it publicly that he wants more
a chance to be number one, which is
he wants a bigger role.
$6 million.
Exactly.
Yeah, he wants a big contract.
As soon as Markstrom was signed, he knew that he was only going to get 15 games, right?
Yeah,
he wants more than that, and rightfully so.
Okay, so let's start off with this. Rittich to Toronto for a third round pick in 2022, not this coming up draft, the next year, which is better because that draft is supposed to be
that's
supposed to be a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a lot deeper. And let's be honest, a pending UFA who probably won't come back, I could see him maybe signing again if he, spends half the summer looking for a starting job and can't find it. I don't see that happening.
That's the only way. That's the only way he comes back. Yeah.
It could happen, but I doubt it. And honestly, even if we did, sign him to an extension, and same can be said with Bennett, chances are one of those two would have been gone in the expansion draft to Seattle.
Right. So let's talk about Bennett. One of your guys. I mean, I'm with Chris. I mean, I think a third round pick in the 2022 draft for Rittich, who is going to leave anyway at the end of the summer, is genius. I mean, I only wish genius Brad Treliving would have had that foresight in the summer, or in the last deadline and done that with the likes of, say, Forbert and Brody, and, because he could have got so many pieces, out of that. But no, he expected
to be fair, he tried. Well, Forbert was only a rental for us, but to be fair,
no, that's fair. That's fair. But Brody, though, you got to agree with Brody, though. I mean, he could have easily got something
for Brody, and he could have rented out Hamonic probably.
Definitely,
but, he tried to get something for Brody, but the player on the other side didn't want to come to Calgary. So
fuck that guy.
He definitely tried to get that trade happening, but also last year, he was kind of, his hands were tied a bit, right, with how the season kind of came to an abrupt end, and then we had the bubble situation, and at that point, we were looking like a decent playoff team per se, and so I mean, there's so many factors that go into last year. I don't fault last year's trades or lack of trades on Brad.
Last year
kind of saw what was going to happen.
I think most GMs kind of get a pass on last year, just like so
this
many
is
other.
True. That is true. Yeah.
Get a pass on last year because everything was so much different than everyone knows, and it still is.
But guess what, guys? You're gonna get some praise for Brad Trey living from me.
What?
Because yes, absolutely.
Where's my calendar? Let's get that calendar out.
Yeah, dude. It's only 3 episodes. You boys know me better than anyone. You're gonna get it. I think, honest to God, I do believe Brad done a great job at the deadline in terms of what he could do. What was the point? Like, would you guys agree with me on this? If we were in a position where we knew that there was still a very, very good chance of getting into the playoffs, then he could have made a move for someone like a Bobby Ryan or whatever, getting that right winger in and getting somebody, getting a piece in.
Getting the top 6 scorer.
Exactly.
Something. I mean, I love Dubé and Mangiapane, but getting somebody who's a little bit more established as that instead of somebody who's just put there because that's what we got.
Exactly. Yeah. Because like a Bobby Ryan would have been very gettable. You know what I mean? That would have been perfect. Someone like that. I think me and you talked about that, Chris, the last time. And it would have been good. But this time it's like, right, we have a slim chance of getting into the playoffs. So why not kind of set up for the future? And I got to be honest, I think getting something for Riddick, and then of course, I mean, Dylan, there's only one man to talk about, the Sam Bennett trade, because as anybody who is part of the Flames Hub on Facebook, by the way, if you want to join the Flames Hub, if you're a real Calgary fan, if you're just some sort of Canuck prick that wants to come in and give us shit, we're just going to get rid of you real quick. So
we'll play with you. We'll play with you for a little while.
We'll play with you for a little while. Yeah, Chris will play with you for a little while, and then you're gone.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think, Chris, there's only one man that can talk about Sam Bennett, right? And that is Mr. Simpson.
Mr. Simpson. I'm assuming you drove him to the airport, Dylan?
I slammed the door so hard it hit him in the ass on the way out.
I think he bought him a cab.
Yeah, right.
And apparently it lit a fire under his ass, because let's talk about how he's played, and I think he's only played 1 game in Florida, and he's got primary.
I watched last night, yeah.
And he's playing second line center because they've apparently, I guess Alex Wenberg is the other guy who could play that, but he's playing with Jonathan Huberdeau, and I don't even know who's on his right wing, but apparently him and Huberdeau have hit it off, but again, one game sample size, and
I mean, good on how long is it going to stay on that second line when his faceoff percentage last night was 37.5?
What?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
He
because won 6 of 16. So
I was looking at that as well, because I was watching the game, and obviously I wasn't looking at the stats. And of course, you are stat man, Chris. So that's why I love you, and I'm glad you brought that up to me, because I was actually watching it. I was saying, dude, he's winning nothing in the faceoffs.
Yeah. 5 hits though, right? I mean, that's the Sam Bennett that we have wanted.
That's the
for years,
guy, right? The guy who disappeared when he was playing on the first line or the second line.
Yeah, that's why I think the move's going to be good for his career. I honestly think he'll light it up in Florida. I think he'll get back to, back to his 30 points, 35 points a season,
which is 40,
okay, right?
Which is fine. And let me get something straight here, because a lot of people seem to think I absolutely hate Bennett, which, I'm not a huge fan of his play in Calgary, and I'm not a huge fan of how he decided to, ask for a trade, which kills his value a little bit, and how he decided to complain about not getting top 6 minutes, which, let's be honest, he never really deserved.
Yeah.
In Calgary. But there is nothing wrong with being a third liner. There's nothing wrong with being a fourth liner. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Good on him.
No.
Sure, he took the occasional bad penalty, which he really cleaned up this year. But in years past, he's taken lots of bad penalties. But like I said, he's cleaned that up this year. And I hope him all the best. I wish him all the best, I guess, in Florida. Hopefully he resigns there. And maybe another thing is maybe he needed away from the public eye. And
right.
Maybe he's one of those guys that just can't or doesn't perform as well when everybody's watching. And in Florida, nobody's watching.
Yeah. Nobody's.
So,
even when they allow fans in the stands, they're still only going to have 2,000 of them, right?
Well, that's it. Like, they're usually at a Magic game or something else.
Or in Tampa Bay.
Or Tampa. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy how just down the road Tampa Bay sells out stadiums, but they've also been a really good team. But it's just down the road. But I guess Sunrise. I mean, I don't know much about Florida. Let's be honest. But
I got to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of the state of Florida. I mean, it was the first time I was ever in the States was in Florida, and I really enjoyed it there, and I really do like the people. And it's like, but it's basketball, especially when you're down like outside of Tampa. It's basketball. It's football. You know what I mean? But the Tampa Bay Lightning have a way of just getting themselves in, and that goes down to the marketing team. I just feel that the Florida Panthers don't really. I don't know. It's just like
it's tough to have a big hockey market when your average temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, right?
Yeah, this is true.
And that's like annual average.
Yeah, I mean,
you want to go to a game to cool down.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they do an all right job of marketing. I remember. I mean, first of all, they have a fantastic logo. I love their logo.
Panthers.
Go ahead.
The Panthers
logo or the Lightning?
Yeah. Oh, the Panthers. Well, and the Lightning, but the Panthers logo, I really like that logo.
Both great logos. Yeah, they're both great logos. Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as it's just hard to market in that place. I remember a couple of years ago there was a video floating around YouTube of I can't remember who it was, but I think it may have been Trocheck, who was trying to give tickets away on the radio for free, and they were having a hard time doing it. They were having a hard time giving tickets away for free. Like, imagine that in Calgary.
Well, we did the same thing when we attempted to have a basketball team as well.
Greetings to all my Calgary brothers and sisters from Ireland, by the way.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I think. What do you think about Bennett in terms of the value that we got back? Let's talk about that.
I think that is wonderful, and I'm pretty sure both of you guys will agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm drinking to it.
He was in Calgary. We got a second round pick in what's supposed to be a great draft. Probably going to be a later second round pick.
Yeah.
But we got a second round in a later draft, or in a good draft.
Yeah.
Mixing my words up here. And we got Emil Heinemann. I don't know how to say his name properly. I think I got it.
Heinemann.
But I watched a few highlights of him playing a little bit in the World Juniors last year.
He looks good. I like him.
And he's playing against men this year. I believe the SHL. I could be wrong there.
Yeah, no, SHL.
Yes.
It is the SHL. Yep.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyways, he's playing against
he's
men,
playing, and he's playing in his hometown too, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
is he? I didn't know that part.
Yeah, we're in his hometown in Laxens.
Okay. Yeah, so I think again about the tempering expectations thing. I think we got to temper that a little bit with him, because he came over in a trade for, a guy who was picked 4th overall. But in a few years, I could see him projecting out to be kind of like Backlund, maybe with a little bit more finish than Backlund, but he seems to be finish. But he seems to be, a little.
Yeah.
He seems
Well, he was drafted 2nd round, right? 2020.
It was. Yep.
so basically 2 second round.
3rd overall. Exactly, and he's 6'1". 185 now, but I mean he's only 19 years old, so I'm sure he's going to be a 200-pound player.
Dude, 6'1", 185 easily. He will definitely be a 200-pounder for sure. Yeah.
I think 20, the 23 season, and we'll see. He'll have his chance to show us what he's got. If we get him into Stockton next year, and but you're right. Temper the expectations. He's he's young. I see nothing wrong with his game per se. I mean, obviously it's a different game in Sweden. Not quite as physical and whatnot. But I mean, he's big enough. I think he'll be able to.
Absolutely.
He'll
Now he's a right shot,
himself.
correct?
Yeah, right wing, shoots left.
Oh, he shoots left. Okay, but he's a right wing.
Yeah.
So we are short on the right wing. We're really short on right shots, but even just somebody who's used to playing right wing, we don't have enough of those in our system. So
well, I suppose we're gonna have some fun, and that's the thing. I wanna let people know as well, because I was actually asked this question today, because we want to thank everybody that's actually listening to our show. We've had unreal support so far.
We really have.
We really have, more than we expected, right, guys?
Just keep it going.
It's awesome.
I'm going to the next episode we have. I'm actually going to give something away from my room for
really?
people that share our podcast. Yeah.
Awesome.
Just
awesome.
so you know. So they'll have to tune in for the next episode for that one.
Boom.
To find out what they need to do.
Tune in on the same bat channel, the same bat place, which is the Dynamo.
Is that a trademarked saying there, Ian? You might want to get your lawyers.
Yeah, you should probably quickly hashtag something.
That was in the 60s. I think we're pretty cool. And plus, Adam West is a pretty cool guy. I'm sure he wouldn't give a flying fuck.
He wouldn't give a rat's ass.
No, he wouldn't. But
flying rat's ass.
I did want to say though, to all the people that are listening, I was asked a couple of questions from some people that they're enjoying the show. Are we going to not have shows in the off season? I was like, absolutely, we are going to have shows in the off season. This is a weekly show, baby. We are going to be talking in the off season. We're going to.
I'll be out by the barbecue, but we're definitely filming.
Oh, absolutely, we are. You know what I mean? We're going to be able to talk trades. We're going to be able to say, right, do we get Bobby Ryan in on a free for a year? Do we get this guy? Do we get that guy? That's what we're going to be doing. There is no way in hell that
there's plenty of things, right? We've got this year. We have the expansion draft. We have
it's going to be huge.
The regular draft.
I think we should cover that, right? I think we should cover the expansion draft. Actually, I think that would be a pretty cool thing if we did maybe a live thing from a Calgary standpoint as well. Maybe we could do a.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Do a kind
I
of
like that.
I think, I'd be into that too. So there's lots of possibilities. So just to quell any fears straight off the bat from all of you flaming puck fans, we ain't going no place. You're going to see us every week. And it's going to be great.
Love it or hate it.
Yep, absolutely. So what else have we got on the agenda, Dylan? We talked about, obviously, Bennett's gone. It is, for some fans, I have to say it's a sad day because people, it's kind of what could have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's typical fans, right? We hang too much on what their salary is or what their draft position was, and not really sit back and look at the player, right? Yeah. Bennett just never turned into that fourth overall, which is fine, right? Yeah.
You know, there's lots of players that just don't fit on certain teams.
That's right.
Like James Neal didn't fit here, and then he went over to Edmonton, and the next year he lit it up until he got hurt.
Well, define lit it up, right? I mean, when you're standing in front of the net and McDavid's bouncing them off your ass, that's not really lighting it up. That's just that's just being in the right place. I mean, I how many of those goals did he cause? You know, actually caused by hard work and getting.
But let's be honest, he wasn't in the right place in Calgary. He was floating around. He was expecting passes instead of, at least he was wrestling himself into that spot to get the pass bounces, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think I think we should. I think the next place we should go to is the mini Calgary resurgence.
I agree.
Because that's what it's been. And I know as we speak to you last night, or the night before, 24 hours ago, we lost to the Canadians, the Habs. But I
think that was their best game last week.
But not in a way that we should have lost. That's what I'm saying. It's like Calgary at this moment of time, to me personally, I'm repping the 23. I gotta say, Johnny, Monty, good Lord, everybody has just literally stepped up a gear, and they are showing that fucking
last 3 days.
That
week off really helped, which is
so. Does that mean we got rid of what the problem was in the locker room?
I believe so, and I don't know what it was, but that's a good point, Dylan. There you go.
Yeah. Usually weeks off for Calgary end up in us sucking for a stretch anyways. Usually the Flames in the recent past anyways come off of, you know, weeks off or extended periods off and just come out flat for a couple games. But this time, for once, they had some practice. They came out and they won against, albeit Riddick, who played, let's be honest, really well in Toronto, and Edmonton as well, and Montreal once. And the game that we did lose against Montreal, it was the next day, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
Yeah, we won the first game, and then of course we played.
Yeah, and that game, I don't know about you guys. Well, Chris just said it, but they played very, very, very well and outplayed Montreal for pretty much the whole game. That post, post don't count as shots on goal, but if that post was about a fraction of an inch to the right, because I think it was the same post 3 out of the 5 times, but anyways, if it was just an inch to the left or an inch to the right or whatever, it would have been 4-2-3.
Second star of the game was that crossbar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Markstrom's come out and played much better than he has since his injury, and I think we're all pretty happy with the way, even after the loss. I think the three of us anyways are pretty pumped.
Oh, dude,
I am.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm excited for the future, right? I mean, I've already made my peace with the 21 season, which is fine. I'm looking forward to next year and a full year with Daryl Sutter. See if he can get these guys motivated and see what Brad gets done this off season, right?
Yeah.
Is he going to trade one of the one of the top 6 guys that we talk about on a regular basis, or is he going to
try again?
Could I actually help Brad here a little bit? For the first time, I'm on the Brad Treliving side. I'm actually not going to be pissed if he doesn't trade Monty or Johnny. I'll be honest with you. I think if Gio goes, I'll probably be okay with that. No offense to Gio. I love Gio. I know it didn't come across that way last week, but I do actually love Gio. But I think Father Time has stepped up and probably caught caught up with Gio, to be honest with you. And I do think he's valuable enough for somebody to want, a Gio in their locker room. So I don't,
I'm okay with Gio as well. I mean, he's been around a long time. His story is unbelievable, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we keep him, I think next year he needs to be on the third pairing.
Yeah.
Playing
I think we've
12
been saying
to
that pretty much since he won the North.
Right? Yeah. Right.
But that's it.
And
But I think
I mean, it's a tough contract for Brad to move, though, right? It's a really tough contract.
But that's what I'm saying. You're going to be looking at you're going to be looking at kind of, teams with a lot of cap space, and trying to kind of help their locker room. So I'm looking at the likes of Detroit. I'm looking at the likes of New Jersey. I'm looking at the likes of maybe Minnesota, where they're thinking that they might have a little bit more cap space, and have a Gio in there would be valuable for them in terms of their locker room.
Yeah. Well, he needs to waive his no trade clause, and I'm curious to see if Brad can get Giordano or Lucic. I don't want Lucic gone, by the way, but
no.
If he can get either of them to waive their no trade to go to Seattle, because Seattle's going to need some leadership and probably a defenseman at least they think is number 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever.
Gio is a perfect fit for that. Perfect.
I agree.
And
that's true.
So I just want to say it's not Gio hate from my part in any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all.
But there's certain little things that he's doing it's just like, okay, he scores a goal and it covers up the facts that he's probably cost us maybe 2. You know what I mean? It's like one goal doesn't really, get you back. But
so he's started to produce since being paired with Tanev, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Tanev is so. I mean,
so
we would be okay with Tanev being made captain next season. I've said it all along. I stick by it. If people want to laugh at me, that's fine. But for me, I would be
a letter for sure.
Oh, he had a letter that day that Backlund was out against Edmonton. He had an A on.
Oh, that's jersey. Right.
Yeah,
and I think that's pretty well deserved. He's
100%.
I love that guy, and
whatever team he's on.
So Ian, I do have to disagree with you a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the if he doesn't trade Gaudreau, if he doesn't trade Gaudreau this offseason and doesn't get an extension ironed out, then 100% I will be livid.
I should have prefaced it by saying that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
No,
if he can work out an extension, I'm all for Johnny staying. I'm fine with that.
That's exactly what I meant.
But if he can't get something worked out by July, by August, then Johnny has to go for next year.
Johnny looks like he's enjoying his time in Calgary now again. That's what's making me a little bit more excited, and that's why I brought that up.
What winning does, hey?
You what?
It's amazing what winning does.
It's amazing what chemistry and winning mentality does. Yeah, guys, can we just say goal of the week for me is the goal that Lindholm scored from his knee.
That was awesome.
That was pretty. That was.
It was going a foot wide, but
yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But still, it was good because he stuck with it. Right? He got that shot, and it kind of fanned on it and fell down, and then it came back to him, and he just like shoveled it, and it went in. And
it was. Yeah, if he can do more of that, right? He's tenacious. He's always been that guy.
He is our first line center. Now we know that, and it's we've been talking about it. Dylan, you've been calling for it. Chris, I know you've been calling for it. I was looking back at old posts, and you guys have been calling for it for a long time. Now we have it. Monahan. Let's talk about Monahan playing on the second line, as we have been calling for too. Dylan, you mentioned that nobody kind of wanted it was like the elephant in the room that nobody wanted to address. Money being second line forward. Dude, he is thriving in that situation playing with Mangiapane and Dubé at the moment, I think.
Well, remember a couple weeks back on the podcast, they said even though they're neither of them are sizable. They're both hard on the puck. This being Mangiapane and Dubé.
Yeah.
And they both, I mean, Dubé's a natural center, but he's played right wing all season, and Mangiapane's a natural left wing. So those are two guys playing, what they're used to playing. And they're dragging Monahan into the battle, and they can also fish it out for him so he can, I mean, his goal this week, I believe it was his only goal, was an empty netter.
But also, but how good was the it was so calm. I mean, that needs to be kind of addressed as well. It was just, that shows you how good Monty is with shooting, right?
Yeah. I mean, I still think his shot's a little, his wrists aren't 100% after all those surgeries, but I got to give him credit. That was like 150 meters of a shot into an empty net. So pretty fucking good.
Really good. Yeah.
And it was quick too. It's not like he held on to it forever. But like I said a couple weeks ago, having a couple guys who will drag him into the battle, and for once not hating on Gaudreau because that's not his game. Battling is not his game. But Monahan needs a couple guys who can battle, and that's why guys like Ferland worked so well on that line.
Yeah,
because they did the battling for those two, quote unquote softer guys, and now Monahan has two guys on his wings that are.
What game did he score his goal in? Do you remember?
It was I believe it was Toronto.
Against Toronto, right on. Yeah. So
No,
that wouldn't have been an empty.
No, it was an empty netter. I think it was in Edmonton. No,
that was 5.
No, that was the 5. It was during the week. It was.
I am gonna look at it.
It was now. Montreal. It was Montreal.
Yeah.
It was Montreal. But guys, we also had a landmark that we need to talk about as well, and a guy that us 3 Flames fans anyway absolutely fall in love with every week, and that is Milan Lucic, who played his 1,000th game.
And set up an absolutely beautiful pass. Well, he made the absolutely beautiful pass, which I didn't think he saw. I was watching it, and he was kind of looking the other way, and I was like, oh, he's not going to get it, but he did, to Valimaki, who made a really nice pinch and scored.
Yeah, it was a beautiful saucer, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought it was unbelievable. Yeah. And it was kind of the reason I wanted to bring up Milan was because, he's got a lot of heat, no pun intended, from Flames fans since he's arrived. And and again, we go back to what we said at the start before we come on air. Jeff Ward, I do believe, deserves a lot of credit for the rejuvenation, if you will, of Milan Lucic. And I do believe that Lucic now is also in the conversation as the next captain, or at least deserving an A. You know what I mean?
Depending
he's a proven leader.
On the state of the team when Giordano leaves, or say Backlund or Monahan gets traded or something like that, depending on the state of the team, then that could still be a couple of years away, and then Lucic's contract is gone too. But
we extend it for a much lower price, though.
He deserves it. He's one of those character guys who puts it all out there. Every game this season. Last season he had he had about a quarter. The first quarter wasn't so great, but this season he's put it all out there every single game, and hustles. I think we talked about it last week. Once he gets to top speed, it takes him a couple extra steps, but once he gets there, he's hustling.
Well, the exact point was made by Mr. Rubak, and that was Chris said it was like his brain has like a 2-second delay.
Yeah.
But I feel that it's now getting to 1 second.
I agree. Yeah, he's getting there quicker. He knows what he's doing. Further to the it takes him the second, and once he gets going, I mean, he's been pretty quick this year. But unfortunately, the only thing that stops him right now is the boards and somebody on it. And I said unfortunately, I meant fortunately, because he's been hitting like a truck this year. He's obviously physical.
Dude,
has a fight in his 1000th game.
A lot more too.
Like, come on,
that's Sabrin fight. Guys, how can I pronounce that? I'm Irish. Don't.
You're doing fine.
Sabrin.
You're doing fine. Yeah.
But that fight was awesome. On his 1000th game, it was like, right, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he came in, and even though he had a little cut, the commentators were kind of going, "Oh, Sabrin, he done well." But when you actually look at it, no, he fucked that boy up. And and Sabrin is a tough guy. Like,
yes,
yeah,
he's just, for me, Milan.
Yeah,
Lucic
didn't Luch fight in his first game too? His first NHL game.
Yeah,
fought in his 1000. Right?
I'm not gonna have the stat completely correct, but I remember hearing one of the commentators of one of the games the other day saying 5 fights in his first 7 games or something like that. Like ever, when he was
paved the road for his career, right? He's still one of the most feared players in the league.
He is as far as fighters go. Ryan Reeves is the only guy I'd say is really more feared, and I would be, as a Flames fan, I would be fucking terrified if he got in a fight with, like, it would be entertaining, but I would think that Reeves would.
And they have both gone on the record in the last couple of years saying that they're afraid of the other guy.
Oh, really?
Like, I think you're wrong, Dylan. I don't think Reeves would
I think that would be the ultimate heavyweight battle. Obviously, it's the only heavyweight battle right now. I honestly think Reeves would win that. He's a tough son.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
I do. Yeah, there's just something about
the fighting Irish in me tells me that I'm going to stick with my boy, and
and rightfully so. I mean, Milan's a tough SOB. I mean, and he's not going to back down. Yeah, he's not going to back down. There's no way.
Yeah.
If it ever happened, which obviously it won't be this year. Will it be next year? We don't know.
It's got to happen though, right? It's got to happen now.
I can't believe they haven't yet.
We're wetting the appetites. Fans are listening at home now, going, "Oh, okay." They're going to put on NHL 21 on the old computer and go, "All right, I'm going to make this happen and see what happens."
I'm too old for that logic. That makes no sense to me. People are they're missing the sport, so they play it a video game. Just makes no sense.
Exactly.
I play it all the time, but I also watch the sport and pay attention to the sport. So,
well, that's what you should do, And unfortunately, there's too many people. I think 9 out of 10 people don't. But that's why we're here, to bring you podcasts so we can fill you in.
So let's bring up Michael Stone, because he's.
I've got big stones.
And Valimaki as well, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And they're making a great pair. Sticking with Stone for a second, though. I know he had a blood clot 2 seasons ago, I think, or was it last year? But anyways, it was 2 seasons ago, because that's why he got bought out. And he, it took him a while to get back, and it took him a couple games in the minors this year to really get back. He's been the 7th defenseman on Calgary, I guess, slightly on and off for 4 years or 5 years or something. Yeah. And he's honestly played every game since he's been called up, I believe, and played really well, shoots the puck. He doesn't even fucking look when he shoots the puck, which is scary considering he's got the hardest shot on the team.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
But that causes havoc in the offensive zone, and it causes the other team to get out of position to 3 other guys trying to chase the puck after it goes whipping by their face, or duck or get out of the way or whatever, or block a shot and stay down. And that's great. We don't have, the defenseman scored what was it, 3 goals the other game. But in general, the defensemen haven't been very offensive this year as far as stats are concerned anyways. And Stone is the farthest thing from an offensive defenseman, but he's played awesome defensively, great offensively. Did I say offensively twice there?
You did.
Okay, great offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree. I mean, he's got a goal. He's sitting at -1, and so given his role in the 9 games, that's not bad. Right?
That's impressive, dude. Actually, when you think about it,
he has 1 penalty in those 9 games,
and that's fantastic. You think of 7th defenseman coming in and taking penalties, and he's hasn't.
Right? Yeah, and he's averaging 16 minutes a night. So.
I'd say Nesterov's been moved down to that 7th spot, and rightfully so. I mean, we were talking about it off air. I have no problems with Nesterov's game most games, but Stone has definitely outplayed him.
I agree. Yeah. I have no problem with Nesterov either, but you're right. Stone is. We need to get Stone on that second power play unit, I think.
Our power play is missing the bomb from the point, and having
it's always been right.
Having Gaudreau, since McInnes, often enough, I guess. But having Gaudreau back there, I mean, he's got a muffin. He's fucking accurate, but he's got a muffin, right? And he's on the point on the power play most games. For 3/4 of each power play, or over half of it, anyways. And because he's such a great playmaker, but imagine him drawing people, away from Stone, who has a bomb.
Right. Give it over to Stone for that one time.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't had that serious slap shot, since Iginla, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's gonna.
We've had a couple of guys that can shoot.
Hamilton, I guess, maybe.
You are
Hamilton.
I'm not a Hamilton fan at all, because
his shot is weaker than Johnny's, isn't it? I'll try and turn off my blinders. I despise the man since the day we brought him in. To be honest with you, I didn't like his game at all.
Lazy penalties.
Hamilton, lazy, big, plays soft. I have no time for that.
And honestly, I've talked to some Carolina fans this year. I haven't seen a whole bunch of Carolina games. I think I've watched 2 this year, but they have been telling me that he's become a physical player, and he's getting a lot less lazy with his stick infractions, and he's actually becoming an actual good defenseman, and he's still scoring. So, but that was my biggest problem was his lazy stick penalties, and the fact that he's 6'6" and didn't play with his body
at all. Yeah.
When he was in Calgary, but apparently he's been working on that, and it's been doing pretty good for him.
Even when he was in Boston, right? There's a reason why Boston let him go with these, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we might see.
Yeah, I mean, I like my defensemen to be defensemen. Hit hard, make your life miserable, clear the front of the net, just everything physical. I could care less how many points a defenseman gets.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's about grit. You know what I mean? Grit and just
give me 4 Robin Regeers on my team at all times, and I'm happy.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Or Phaneuf in year 2.
Or if you could just give me Ray Bourque, that would be great.
Sure.
that would be nice. Just him and Al McInnes would have been perfect. I think that's who I had on my Sega Mega Drive team, actually. That was some defensive partnership. That's one for the ages. So I suppose in closing, guys, we should kind of really look at what the Flames are doing at the moment, and let's talk about the resurgence a little bit. Do you guys think it is a case that now the guys are buying into Sutter's kind of philosophy? Is kind of, I mean, Gaudreau, we really got to talk about Johnny Gaudreau, because the guy looks like he's just enjoying life again on the ice.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I've heard, and like this is probably from a lot of people who are gonna watch this that know how critical I am of Bennett, but I almost think that part of it could have been the trade request, because requesting a trade is a distraction to everybody in the room.
Yes.
I mean, imagine being in there. I don't know. I haven't been in the hockey dressing room since I was fucking 6 or something, but I would imagine somebody requesting a trade would cause a rift for sure.
Dude, imagine right now that Chris was like, "Oh, guess what? I'm going over to Podcast X, but I'm gonna fulfill whatever duties I have to."
Yeah.
We would be like, "Okay, yeah, but you're not gonna have chemistry."
Like we'd still include him, but we'd probably be a little fucking visibly choked about it, right?
Yeah. I need to talk to you guys after the show, actually. No. I'm kidding. No, I agree 100%. I mean, you can't create distractions in a locker room and expect the team to be a team.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you got that. You have that distraction. We've got the closed door meeting that happened, a month ago or whatever the hell that was. I guess that was February. You got that closed door meeting that really stifled the team. Like they were not a unit whatsoever for weeks and weeks. There's been a few distractions, right? So they get rid of the coach that was playing the best friend role and not really dealing with these situations properly. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the day that the request happened from Bennett, he should have been watching from the press box.
Yeah.
Period.
Me
Period.
Yep.
That being said, we wouldn't have gotten a second rounder and a Emil Heinemann if he was in the box the whole time in the press box.
I see both points though. I think Chris is making a good point, and I also see what you're saying there, Dylan. We probably would have.
You're probably right, Dylan. I mean, he probably would have only gone for what Taylor Hall went for, right?
Yeah, which is something we haven't covered. Let's
do it.
Fuck, Taylor Hall went for less than
Dylan and I opened up 2 bottles of champagne each when we found out that Hall wasn't coming here, obviously.
Yes.
And then to find out he only had 2 goals all year with Buffalo, so obviously he's not going to bring a big haul. But I did that. But I mean, yeah, I'm so glad that we don't have to listen to Coming to Calgary talks. I really hope he signs a contract there for the rest of his career.
Too much, too
everything.
Just because I don't want any more Calgary Hall coming home to Calgary talks and people not understanding that even though he scores, he's had one season in his entire career where his team hasn't completely fucking tanked, given he won the Hart Trophy, but still.
Right. Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you do want to hear how good Hall is, you just have to ask Taylor. He'll tell you.
Yep.
Yeah, just can't stand him at all. Zero use for him.
Yeah. But so what was that trade? It was Hall and
Lazar.
Hall and Lazar for a second
and a prospect.
And a prospect. So yeah.
Yeah.
Basically they gave Hall and Lazar for what we got for Bennett. So they added another piece and we didn't. Well, I guess we did because it was the 6th.
We get the 6th round pick, right, for 2022. And
don't get me wrong, like you can get. I could be wrong on the exact draft position of guys like this, but you can get a Pavel Datsyuk or a fucking,
imagine
whatever in the 6th round, but not very.
Yeah, often. but Brad wouldn't have drafted him.
No, absolutely not.
I think that's where we're at this point now. I think Brad did a great job on trade deadline, getting us pieces.
I think so.
I didn't think that we could get, and getting us basically picks and giving us
the first time he's ever got future. in a trade,
right?
and didn't really make the team worse. Like
No, not at all.
as far as next year is concerned, Markstrom's a little injury prone, but not having Riddick and signing whoever, because we won't have Domingue or Sparks anymore probably, but
right.
Well, dude, we have Zagadulin as well, who can come up. We've got, as much as we talk about Wolf, we've got some good goalies,
Yeah, we could
We have prospects, right?
We still have Zagadulin, who I don't think is really going to be an NHL goalie, but I've been proven wrong before.
Same with Parsons, right?
Yeah,
Parsons is the one that I think could make the step quicker.
I remember when
I hope so.
Yeah,
Parsons is one of those guys that really made me start tempering expectations a lot more for goalies, because I remember watching him when he won that gold medal for the States in the World Juniors. It was fucking lights out, and how
excited were you to have him on the team?
Exactly. I could not stop talking about him. And I mean, he's had some pretty fucking serious injuries, and I could be wrong about this. I think he's had some substance problems.
I believe substance and, definitely mental health issues of some kind, right? He's getting help on it, which is good. But
yeah.
And he, maybe once he figures all that stuff out, maybe he could turn out to be something else. But as far as having him and Zagadulin, I think between those two, Markstrom's got a couple guys who can play a few games at least.
Easy. And that's
And
the point I was making. I think those two boys can easily help Markstrom with the load. You know what I mean? And I think, dude, it's gonna be exciting going on from here, because, like, realistically, I think last night, let's be honest, after the Flames loss to Montreal, that's it. We really needed to win that in order. So anybody that has these ideas of getting the playoffs, it's not happening.
Well, we still got 3 against Montreal, and they got shut out last night. So, I mean, it's very possible, but it's not super probable.
It's improbable, but it's possible.
Yeah.
As far as the math goes, you're telling me there's a chance. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But realistically, there's not.
I think the smart, obviously, any hockey player worth their salt is not going to try and tank. But I think
I don't condone that at all.
No, me neither. Hate it.
I mean, let's be honest. Our next game's against Ottawa, and if that doesn't define the rest of the season moving forward, I don't know what will. We've just played like dog shit against Ottawa all year.
You know what? We do owe them a receipt for that.
For shutting out Montreal last night.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, might as well just give them the win and let them jump over us so we can take 7th place in the North, right?
Exactly. And we'll just get some jabroni from round 6.
I mean, we can draft a 6'6" defenseman, which I'm not 100% against either.
No, me neither. To be honest with you guys, I think that's really where we're at. But I think we should leave that conversation for next week, because I think there's going to be a bit more hockey this week. We're obviously going to catch up to the Canucks games that we've got to go and figure out as well. I think the Canucks are now back up and running. I think the Canucks have got a hefty schedule, haven't they? They've got they've got a big schedule.
As they should.
Again, because Miller came out and basically told the media how unfair it was, and so they're delayed again.
Good. I'll tell you what, though, they're killing me for my fantasy. Not that I have any Vancouver players, but I do have McDavid, and they missed like 3 games there during my first week of playoffs in fantasy. So fuck you.
And I have Miller, the fantasy stud usually, but he's not playing. But the other good thing about that is we'll have lots of games remaining.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, which is going to kill us on percentage.
Well, look, I mean, if those guys can't complete, then they've got to be just thrown out, and I think they should be thrown out of the draft lottery as well, personally, if they can't complete. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, though, Ian, is they have a lesser chance than we do anyways, because their winning percentage, last I checked anyways, their winning percentage is still higher than ours.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of find a bit of fuckery going on with these guys now at the moment. Oh, guess what? There's COVID outbreaks nonstop. Well, who's in charge of running this organization then? So surely they should be responsible. But anyway, that's a conversation not for a podcast.
No, we don't need to give Vancouver that much time a day.
Exactly. Fuck those Canucks.
Yep.
Fuck the Canucks. But I think that's a great way to end the show, though, guys. I'm really happy with that, because I mean, I think we covered the fact that Bennett's gone. Look, it's been a nice ride. It's unfortunate that it ended in the way that it did, but Bennett looks like he's kind of enjoying the freedom of Florida. He's obviously in the Sunshine State now, and
that return was way more than we could have expected. It's not like we were expecting.
Exactly.
I mean, some people were expecting
I think
solid second line player.
I think to end this podcast, I'm actually going to say, well, Brad Trey living.
Yeah.
You've seen it all,
He works his draft magic on the trade deadline for once, instead of sitting on his hands and waiting until it was too late, not getting Zucker.
And now I think he's bought himself some time where he's going to get to work his trade magic again. And let's see where Calgary end up in the lottery. And let's see where, what we get. I'm liking the look of that Dylan Gwenter kid. I know you guys are talking about a defenseman. I like that Gwenter is a left wing.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, top 10 picks, defensemen, there's a lot of them in the top 10 this year, but I honestly think that getting a forward in the top 10 is just way more likely to hit than getting a defenseman in the top 10.
Exactly.
I agree. And you have to take the best player available at that pick, whether we're 3 through 8 or whatever it is that we're likely going to pick at. Best player available is what we need.
I agree with that. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to have the free agency. If you can clear up some cap space, regardless of regardless of who we think that we want gone, if he can clear up some cap space just with making little bits, doing little bits, I think we'll be all right, Forward is going to be on a free next year again. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing Forward back.
You know what? I don't think he got enough credit last year in the playoffs, because with Hamonic not coming in last year, opting out, he stepped into Hamonic's role, and Hamonic's role is basically what Tanev's role is this year. Probably a little bit less good at it, but still very good at it. And Forbort came out and did all those things.
That's insane. And he's also,
I agree.
He's a Sutter player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he certainly outperformed Gustafson, right?
Mm-hmm. Gustafson was a failure of a project.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He was a failure of a project this year too, because he got traded again.
Right.
Listen, all I'm saying is I would not be surprised next year if you see guys that are on those 1-year contracts in certain teams, like the Corey Perrys, like the fucking Wayne Simmons. All these guys, I would not be surprised if you see them on 1-year contracts.
As a lifelong Flames fan, I would be extremely pissed off if I saw Corey Perry on my team.
I would never want Corey Perry on our team. I'm not saying that I want it to happen.
I was trying to figure out the most politically correct way I could say this without offending somebody.
Simmons, I would take over Perry though. Yeah.
Yes.
I want a Corey Perry type player, like Corey Perry 5 years ago type player, but not with those 5 letters on the back of his jersey.
Yeah,
100%.
not with that junky head.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need any more redheads on the team. Sorry, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Hey,
guys, they don't all come from Ireland. I told you guys.
That's right. Yeah, how'd you end up? Do you dye the hair there at the end or what?
No,
Being Irish, you're supposed to have the red.
No, that's me. That's natural.
Okay. All right. Good.
My natural. There's plenty of grays in here. Trust me, it's just a
Oh
lighting.
yeah. That's why I keep the lights low.
It's just a lighting, and it's great because it makes me feel better when I'm talking to you guys. I'm like, oh, I'm drinking from the fountain of youth, haven't I? And then I go down to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I'm really not.
At least it's like fucking 6 o'clock where you're at, and you having a beer is a little bit, more politically correct than what time is it? 11 a.m. for me.
Well, you're having a beer at 11 a.m. That's pretty awesome. And you know what? There's an old
5 o'clock somewhere.
I'm going to lend this Irish term to all of my Calgary brethrens and sisterins, and that is Céad Míle Fáilte, which means 100,000 welcomes. And yous are all welcome to this podcast, and whether you're a Flames fan or you're not, please do give us your feedback, whether it's negative, whether it's positive, it doesn't matter. We want to hear from you.
Right.
We have broad shoulders. We can take it.
There's a big old comment section below. Fill it out. Let us know.
Damn right.
That's right.
So
share it.
To everybody that has been supporting us from day one, this is episode 4 of the Flaming Puck podcast, and we are really happy to say that we're just getting started, guys. This chemistry is rolling now. I think it's awesome.
Loving it.
And
I think we're doing pretty fucking good. Not to stroke our own horns, but
as a wise man once said, he said nothing, and then he ended the show. Follow us, of course, on the Dynamo Podcast Network, which is on YouTube. That's where you will find us. Please go and join the Flames Hub on if you are a proper Flames fan. If you're there just to be a dick, Chris is going to filter you out. I'm going to filter you out. Dylan's going to filter you out. It's real simple. But if you want to come and you want to have some fun, the Flames Hub is the best place in the world to be. It's like a big family. We've got a couple of thousand members. And of course, we got the Flaming Puck group now as well. So if you want to be a part of that and you want to get kind of, I suppose as we're getting this show up off the ground, you're going to get some exclusive content, and we might do some live stuff like we mentioned at the start. We might do some live stuff for maybe the expansion draft as well. So it's exciting times ahead, guys. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I agree. We'll do some live. We'll float in the pool for the expansion draft. We'll be good.
That sounds like a great idea.
So until next week, from me, Ian the Dynamo Kelly, for Dylan Simpson, for Chris Rubak, we are your Flames podcast by the fans, for the fans, and until next week, we will catch you later.